So joining us next is a Dutch digital artist who delivered a keynote address yesterday at ISE. So we're going to welcome Jeroen van der Most, who has been at the forefront of integrating AI into his artwork since 2010, and has even had his artwork commissioned globally for organizations including Amnesty International, NVIDIA, as well as Nike and Foot Locker. So his work has been on display here at ISE, which can be found at the South Access screen for all attendees to enjoy as well. Jeroen van der Most's art not only explores the vast creative possibilities of new technologies, but also challenges and redefines our understanding of technology itself. So I'm very happy to welcome you to the stage and sitting here with me and Ben. So thank you, Jeroen. We really appreciate having you here.
Absolutely.
What do you think of the show so far?
Oh, it's amazing. It's overwhelming. All my sounds, vision, everything is overwhelmed by what I see here. It's crazy.
Very stimulating, yes. Lots of lights and strobe. It's fantastic. Well, wonderful.
Yeah, and I know you're based in Amsterdam or nearby, so we're sorry that we had to tear ISE away from Amsterdam. But hopefully it gives you a chance to, get a change of scenery, come by and have a see what it's all about.
But Barcelona is great. The weather is great. So yeah, love
exactly. Yeah, precisely.
Fantastic. So you've been working with AI since 2010, and I understand that you started as a marketing data artist and now are an AI artist. So please enlighten me and our audience, what exactly is a data artist, and if you could just share your journey from there to become an AI artist, please?
Yeah, so actually in 2010 I was working in market research and data science, using algorithms there to do all sorts of research projects into advertising campaigns often, and how people were behaving on social media. And at some point I wanted to use these algorithms in a more, less a rational way, but in a more inspiring way, more from the heart, to create and inspire again. And that's when I started to experiment with using these algorithms to create all sorts of visualizations, and that developed into artworks at some point, and using these increasingly more complex algorithms, which became AI at some point, more or less around 2015. You saw this rise of these algorithms, deep learning based algorithms, AI, and that's what I'm still using today, more or less. Yeah.
So you're a little ahead of the game, maybe.
Maybe a little bit. Of course, there's crazy times that everybody nowadays knows something or is able to talk about artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence has made it mainstream.
Well, you're clearly incredibly passionate about what you do. I can feel that coming from you. And your piece, Be Barcelona, was actually projected at the South Access of the show, what some people call the main entrance to the show. Can you talk to us a little bit about that piece and kind of like what it means to you?
Yeah, it was really a fascinating show that we gave yesterday. It's a live show in which I experimented with real-time generation of AI images based on my background as an artist, mixed with the mind of a bee, to explore all sorts of mixes of ideas that I could have about new art installations, mixed with all sorts of intelligence from the life of a bee. So concepts like cross-pollination, rhythmicity, living in a collective, living in the hive, and this AI system then explores all these sort of merges between human life and the bee life, mixed with me also live on the spot with all sorts of other footage from nature, and it was crazy. It was customly developed also for the transparent screen at the south entrance, so customly developed for that. Yeah.
And did you have a particular bee that you spoke to when you were doing it, or did you just take a general?
It's really inspired my studio. So one of my studios in Amsterdam is actually based in this bee park, and that's sort of where the idea rose at some point. I wanted to do something with the bees from Amsterdam.
Yeah, definitely.
I usually run from them, but I think you've given me a different point of view now instead of running from them. I'm just so fascinated by how your mind works. I'd love, can you share with us some of the other projects that you've worked on? And I'd love if our audience could take a look too and see.
One of my favorite projects is a project that we started in 2020. It's called Letters from Nature, and it's still running today. And it's a project in which we use text generation AI, so AI that can write text of the quality you would expect from a human, like ChatGPT, but we used its predecessor in 2020. And we used that AI to write letters on behalf of nature to world leaders, to complain about the climate crisis, or to be angry, or to ask for help in relation to everything that's happening to the climate. That's Letters from Nature. And we experiment and work together with all sorts of museums across the world to bring that in all sorts of form these messages from nature, to audiences. With my co-artist in this, Peter van der Putten from Leiden University, the Netherlands. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, we spoke as well beforehand about training an AI system yourself to create art in your style. That's kind of flipping on the head the idea that AI can be an imposter and you can tell it, hey, create a piece of art in the style of Van Gogh or something like this.
Absolutely.
How, when you are training the system yourself, how does that feel? I guess it's kind of like taking back control of the AI beast, as it were.
I mean, for me, it's really fascinating process to see what happens if I actually train such an AI system and see if it can create better art than myself. But it's pretty equal to myself, and I find that these kind of weird, new concepts, things that you can explore with artificial intelligence, the most interesting. But the most interesting aspect gets, also in my opinion, when you start to mix that output with all sorts of other stuff like the bee intelligence, then it gets, outside of the existing again, outside of existing boundaries, and that's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, sure.
I'm just so fascinated. I want to know, where do you get your inspiration from to create these pieces?
Yeah, it's very diverse. So inspiration can be conferences like this one. So also by the other speakers, but also by the technologies that I see here. But it's also, for me, of course, very much in visiting art exhibits, museums, etc. And it's very much also on watching just a whole lot of videos on all sorts of technological reflections, developments, philosophical stuff. That's really where I get my inspiration, to get new views and new ideas about other uses, more creative, more interesting uses of technologies like artificial intelligence that I can experiment with as an artist in my art.
And do you think it's important to be working just on a single project at a time, or do you have the capacity to sort of work on multiple projects and kind of keep making notes and inspirations? Or how
so in my practice it's more about continuously working on multiple things, and that really helps me, it gets me energized to keep on, every time take little steps forward, change stuff, and ultimately all these, it's such a concept like the bee artwork. It's more or less a process of 1.5 years in which this step by step is perfected and made more perfect, and now eventually is here shown in a custom version on that transparent screen. So
And how long on average does it take for you to create some of those pieces? Like, for example, the one that was here about the bee. How long?
Yeah, so these are pretty long processes most of the time. So this is a process which started more or less 1.5 years ago. So it's not something you will work full time on, but it's of course over the course of such a period something like this is developed, and it's with artworks is also often it's never finished. So you can keep on. These are projects like Letters from Nature. It's been running for 4 years and increasing all sorts of different versions.
And you're constantly sort of updating it and sort of. So
if you have a really strong concept. A strong concept, it can keep you busy for for decades.
And it works. I think it ties in quite nicely with the idea of AI, because AI is constantly learning and evolving and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, speaking of evolving, if people want to find out more or follow your journey, what's the best way for them to do that?
They have to follow me via my website, jeroenvandermost.com, but also follow me on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. That's my main social medium. Also active on Twitter, Instagram. LinkedIn is the main thing. So please do connect me, and let's stay in touch, definitely.
Yeah, we will, definitely. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
It was great to be here. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.